The move from physical media to digital files made it so much easier for DJs out there to carry thousands of tracks with them wherever they went. But at the same time, it made it just as easy to lose track of all that great music. Many DJs that switched from using vinyl or CDs to using DJ software never learned proper file organization or why it's so important when DJing with a computer. So let's go over some ways how not to store music on your computer and give you some tips on how to make sure your files are ready to go whenever you need to rock the party.
So here's the common mistake a lot of DJs make, where they have a bunch of files that they've just downloaded and they want to add to their DJ library. They just leave it in their downloads folder like this, or even worse, scattered across their desktop like this. They'll select all of the songs and then just have them dragged into a crate or even just their library without moving them around and putting them in somewhere a little bit more safe. Now, yes, right now, if I go ahead and load this, it's gonna work and I can play the music. But for instance, say I went in and then I moved that file into this little folder down here. So what happens if I do this and then I just, accidentally move it or something like that? Now, when I try to load the song, it goes missing. And now if I'm in the middle of my set, I would know that, for instance, this other one that I loaded, it looks like it's there right now, but because I haven't loaded it yet, now if I try to load it, now it's gone missing. So in the middle of my set, that's the last thing I want to worry about, is a file that looks like it's there and ready to play not being there because I accidentally moved it because I didn't figure out someplace safe to keep those files. So never ever leave tracks that you've just downloaded in your downloads folder or on your desktop, and avoid stuff like this happening where it looks like your files are there and it looks like your tracks are ready to play and you go ahead to load them and they just come up missing and you can't do anything about it in the spur of the moment when you only have a couple of seconds to get into that next song.
Now, I suggest coming up with a simple system of moving those files from your download folder or from your desktop and keeping them organized somewhere else on your computer where you know all your music's stored.
Now, one simple solution is to come up with a simple system that you're going to use every time you download music to move them from these folders to somewhere safe on your computer. What's nice about both Mac and Windows is that they both come with a music folder when you start Windows. So if you go ahead and for Mac, we're going to go into Home. Now right here we have our music folder. We can use this as a place to store our music safely and know that it's just not scattered in the downloads folder. So let's just go ahead and create a new folder and let's call it DJ Music. Now I'm just going to go ahead and open that up. And then, so say I've downloaded a bunch of new music, I'll just make sure to grab all of these files and then just drag them into that folder that I decided I want to leave all my music in. Then from there, I can drag it into my DJ software and I know all of my files are safe and sound and ready to use. So here's a bonus tip. Here's one way to make it a little bit easier to always remember to move your files to the folder that you decide to organize your music in. So this works for both Windows and Mac. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab that folder that we decided to organize our music in and then just click and drag it right here to the left side under favorites. Now, this will always show up no matter what folder you're in. So for instance, if you're in your downloads folder and you need to just go ahead and click and drag that music over, instead of having to open up another window, we can just click, select, click and drag it right into that music folder. And we can do it all from one window. And that just makes it that much easier to make sure all of your music is always organized. So the process for Windows is just as easy. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and grab our music folder and then just drag it right here under quick access. Let's just drag it here. And now that folder always shows up no matter what window we're in, and we can access it just the same. And I can tell you firsthand how important this is because it's happened to me. I downloaded a bunch of new tracks, left them on my desktop in a folder, and dragged them into my DJ software because I needed them right then for a gig. And then later on, I went ahead and moved it to the right place. But because I didn't do that step to begin with, when I went to go look for those files again, they came up missing in my DJ software. And then I was frantically searching through my files and folders as I was trying to DJ. And it just put so much more extra stress on me as I was DJing. And all of that could have been avoided if I would have just taken those files, put them in my music folder, and had them safe and ready to go whenever I needed them. Now the next step after you've come up with a simple system to organize your music is to make sure that all of your files are ready to play whenever you get to your gig. Now this means beat grids, cue points, loops, key information, tagging, whatever you use, whatever metadata you might have in your DJ software, make sure all of that stuff is taken care of before you get to your gig. Take that extra time to analyze your files and make sure they're ready to go when you're ready to play. Because nothing's worse than getting to a gig, starting to play, going through some new music that you're really excited to play, loading it to a deck, and having to wait because you didn't take that extra time to analyze that file.
So I wanted to show you guys an example of the time difference of loading a song that's already been analyzed and one that hasn't. So this track number 1 that we have, I'll go ahead and load to the left deck and you'll see how quickly it'll load because it's already been analyzed. And the second one right here, I haven't analyzed, I just downloaded it. You'll see that it doesn't have any BPM information or any length information or any key information. So let's see how long each one of these takes to load. So I'll go ahead and load the analyzed one first. It loads pretty much instantly. Then the second one, and has to take all that time to load the waveform as well as lay a beat grid down, and I still don't have any cue points, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and put those in and take the time to do that on the fly. And that's the last thing you're gonna wanna do in the middle of a mix. So take the time beforehand, before you get to your gig, to make sure your files are nice and organized, as well as make sure that all of your music files are nice and prepared, so when the time comes that you need to play it, they're ready to go and you can do the best job possible. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this DJ tips and tricks video. So down in the comments, we'd love to know how you organize your music and make sure to keep it safe. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe this video, and get good, get out there, and make the moments.